What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a Friday edition of Coming Off the Bench. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter show today. Just have a couple things I have to do today. Unfortunately, that's going to have to cause the show to be short. But I appreciate every single one of you guys coming out and supporting the stream and supporting the show, supporting the channel. Thank you guys so much for all of your support recently. It has been absolutely outstanding. You guys have been killing it on everything. So I really appreciate you guys so much. Today we're going to be talking about Browns, Raiders, game on Sunday at 4:05 in Las Vegas. Shedeur Sanders' first NFL start. Did a lot of Shedeur content this week. I know probably a lot of you are like, my God, enough Shedeur Sanders content. But we'll be talking about the Browns Raiders game coming up here on Sunday. And we'll also be talking about the 2026 draft QB prospects and if the Browns perhaps should pursue a plan to go after one of these quarterbacks coming up next year in the draft. So we'll be talking about that. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Thank you guys so much for watching, whether you guys are watching here live on the stream or on demand whenever you like on YouTube. Your support means the world to me. So let's get on with the show, shall we? Got a little bit of time before I have to leave. Let's start off with the Cleveland Browns playing in Las Vegas on Sunday. You guys already know this. Shedeur Sanders is going to have his first NFL start on the road in Las Vegas. Kind of, I would say it's the perfect environment for Shedeur Sanders to have his first NFL start because Shedeur Sanders, big personality, likes the spotlight. What better of a place to have your first NFL career start than in Las Vegas itself? And, the Browns and the Raiders are not good teams. They are not good teams at all whatsoever. Browns and the Raiders pretty much have the same challenges when it comes to being football teams. They both have pretty decent defenses. They have a star defensive end. They're pretty decent in the back half of the secondary. But when it comes to the offensive side of the football, they are downright miserable. Shedeur Sanders is going to have a tough time because, especially the Browns offense is going to have a tough time because you're going to have to deal with a guy like Max Crosby who can get to the quarterback at will. He's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. You're going to have to deal with that. And, the Browns are going to have a fight on their hands. The Browns or the Raiders are the 11th ranked rushing defense in the NFL. So the Browns are going to have to try and figure out a way to keep the running game sustained on the ground against this pretty potent Raiders rushing defense. And so if this goes the way that it's looking like on paper, and if the Raiders are able to, stop the Browns running game, then it's going to have to put the ball in the Shedeur Sanders' hands. And you don't necessarily want that if you're Kevin Stefanski. If you want your rookie quarterback with his first NFL start, it didn't necessarily go well against the Ravens Sunday afternoon. You don't really want your rookie quarterback making his first career start to have 40 plus passing attempts because the running game isn't going on the ground. So the Browns are going to have to figure out a way to get the running game going with Quinshon Judkins. That is the number one key to have success against the Raiders on Sunday. They have to keep the ball in Quinshon Judkins' hand, in Dylan Sampson's hands, in Jerome Ford's hands, whoever is going to be the running back today on Sunday. They're going to have to try and figure out a way to keep the running game sustained, keep it moving, and then you have Shedeur Sanders, come out here and pass, I would say you try and keep him under 30 passing attempts. That is a pretty key, thing for the Browns to try and limit Shedeur Sanders in terms of his passing attempts because you do not want Shedeur Sanders to throw the ball more than 30 times in this game. You shouldn't. Okay, you need to have an established run game. The line needs to protect Shedeur. Get Max Crosby, whether it's chips, whether it's double teams on Max Crosby, whatever. You're gonna have to try and double or try and limit Max Crosby because again, both teams are not good offensively. This team, both of these teams are not good offensively. They're not, okay? The Browns have an advantage here because I would probably say, actually, no, I'll take that back. Both of these teams are a wash offensively. I was going to say the Browns do have an advantage, but the more I thought about that, they don't. It's pretty much a wash because you think about who the Raiders have on offense. You got Geno Smith, who has been going back to New York Jet Geno Smith, who's just been taking horrible care of the football and turning the football over like it's nothing. On the Raiders side, Ashton Genty and the Raiders have not been able to get anything going on the ground all season long. Last game, they only had Ashton Genty run 6 times the entire game, and Pete Carroll said basically that he wanted to establish the play action, even though they only ran the ball 6 times, which makes no sense. So the Raiders and Ashton Genty all season long, if you guys have been paying attention to anything in the NFL, Ashton Genty and the Raiders has been a huge debacle because the Raiders just basically do not know how to handle a talent like Ashton Genty right now. And then you have, Brock Bowers as well as their tight end. That's going to be a pretty big, factor for them. That's pretty much like one of their only weapons on offense for the Raiders. So the Browns are going to have to try and do a lot to maybe even just let Brock Bowers have his, fill. He's one of the best tight ends in the league, even just being a second-year player. You're going to probably let him have his, and then try and let, someone on the Raiders, wide receiver core try and, beat you over the top, or try, if they get 80 yards receiving, which would be crazy. But if you're going to let someone else, beat you, with the receiver core that the Raiders have, fair play to them. But yeah, Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, those are pretty much the two main weapons that the Raiders are going to have on Sunday. And then the key thing with the Raiders is that Max Crosby, again, one of the best defensive ends in the league. He's been limited with a knee injury. Yesterday he was limited in practice, so it's going to be something to keep an eye on for the Browns if Max Crosby is not able to go on Sunday. And again, the Browns are going to have to try and devise a game plan to keep the ball out of Shedeur's hands. They're going to have to get the ground game going. Like I said, Raiders have the 11th best rushing defense in the NFL. They're pretty good when it comes to stopping the run. And I think the Browns are just slightly above them. I think they're 10th or 9th in the league in terms of stopping the run. So the Browns or Raiders are pretty much neck and neck in terms of rushing defense. They're going to have to keep the ground game moving, not pull away from the run in the second half, right? Shedeur Sanders is going to have to make his throws on time. He cannot hold on to that ball too long at all. He cannot hold on to that football. He's got to, trust his eyes, just get the ball out super quick. And if there's a deep shot that's available, take a deep shot, because we've seen multiple times, both with Dillon Gabriel and Joe Flacco, there's been guys who have been open, deep ball. There's been guys who have been open, just chuck it down there. If Shedeur Sanders has a better arm than Dillon Gabriel, doesn't have as good of an arm as Joe Flacco, but he can still throw a deep ball, you got to let it rip. And I think this is a perfect opportunity for Shedeur Sanders and the Browns. You're going up against a 2-8 team with a bad offense. If you just throw an interception, but you still are able to throw like a 40-yard pass downfield and even just create a threat of a deep ball, like Isaiah Bond or whoever you want to throw it to, Jerry Jeudy, Malachi Corley, just even the threat, and to say, hey, we can actually throw a deep ball here. I can throw a deep ball here. You guys better be, paying attention to being beat over the top. That can go a long way, all right? That can go a long way. That can stick in the defense's head. So, even if it is an interception, whatever, at least you just throw the ball downfield. Just something. Give us a vertical passing game, because the Browns have not been vertical at all. The Browns receivers are 32nd in terms of separation and 32nd in terms of speed. So they're not fast and they cannot separate. But even, again, there's been times where guys have been open downfield. Dylan Gabriel has not seen him, or he's not thrown the ball to him because he doesn't have the arm and he cannot see. So Shedeur Sanders going to try and take some of these deep passes, try and take advantage of it. All right. So again, the Browns have a good shot to win this game. Do I think they're going to win, though? I don't think they're going to win. I don't. I see the Raiders trying to, pull something, and they'll probably give the ball to Ashton Jeanty more. I feel like this is going to be a game where, again, the Browns do not have a good track record when it comes to rookie quarterbacks winning their first starts. Okay, I think they're 0-12 in the last 12 games where rookie quarterbacks have made their first career starts. Okay, and it usually doesn't go well on the road either. All right, so I don't think the Browns are going to win on Sunday. I think the Raiders win this one. They're at home. I think it's going to be a very ugly game. I think it's probably going to be maybe 16-10, 16-13 Raiders. I don't think it's going to be this high-scoring shootout. I just don't see it. And if you ask me who I think I trust more, I think Shedeur Sanders or Geno Smith. I'd probably trust Geno just because he has the experience right now. And I hope Shedeur proves me wrong. And puts it to me and says, I hope he comes out here and proves me wrong, right? But we're going to find out on Sunday. There's a lot of different things that are going to have to happen for the Browns to win this game. And they're all plausible. Like, Geno Smith can come out here and throw 4 picks, right? Pretty logical. You could see that happening, right? If Geno Smith throws, a pick to Ronnie Hickman, he throws a pick to Denzel Ward, throws a pick to Tyson Campbell, all those guys. Carson Schlesinger gets a 3rd pick. Maybe. Yeah, sure. I could see that. Carson Schlesinger and the Browns defensive line just have a field day on the Raiders' horrible offensive line. They go out and get 6 sacks, right? Miles gets 4 sacks again, and he goes up to 19 sacks in the year. Could totally see that too. I can also see Geno Smith turning into old Geno, Seattle Geno, and throwing for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns with 1 pick, and then Ashton Jeanty having 75 yards on the ground and a touchdown. I can also see that. There's so many different scenarios I can see. I can also see I just have a harder time seeing the Browns come out with I would say, an efficient game plan around Shedeur Sanders, because I just do not trust Kevin Stefanski or Tommy Rees to really come up with a suitable game plan for Shedeur Sanders at the moment. I just don't see it. So I can see the Raiders winning this game more than I can see the Browns winning this game. So we'll see Sunday, 4:05 in Vegas. Like I said, if you're Shedeur Sanders, what better of a place for a guy like Shedeur Sanders and his personality and the superstar ethos that he tries to present himself, what better place than Las Vegas to make your first NFL start for Shedeur Sanders? And we'll find out, like I said, Sunday, 4:05, Browns, Raiders. We'll see if Shedeur Sanders can prove me wrong. We'll see. But that's going to be it for the first segment, guys. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. I appreciate you guys coming out here on your Friday afternoon. Like I said, a little bit of a shorter show today. Just got a little couple of things I have to do off stream. I do have to say, Sunday, maybe a little bit late on the streams of the post-game reaction, just because I do have to work. So maybe a little bit late with the stream. So I apologize for that, but it's out of my control. So I hope you guys still stay tuned on Sunday. It'll be here. We'll be doing the live post-game show. Make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. Okay, now this one, let's talk about the second and final segment, which is the Browns quarterbacks for 2026. So I haven't really done any real discussion about the 2026 quarterback class. Uh, I've done one segment on a show, I think last week, talking about the 2026 quarterback class and giving you guys my initial thoughts and reactions to who I think the Browns should pursue in this draft, right? And I didn't necessarily go into all of the insights as to why I think the Browns should go after a guy like, Fernando Mendoza or Ty Simpson, right? Or even a Dante Moore. I kind of just talked about how I think they are going into, who's going to go back to school, who's not going to come, and who's going to come out, right? This is the one where I'm going to talk about the guys who I think the Browns could possibly go after in terms of who they should draft going into 2026. And I think there is there are two guys right now who I would say are probably going to come out that I would absolutely love the Browns to take, and that is Fernando Mendoza from Indiana and Ty Simpson from Alabama. The thing with Ty Simpson is he has been absolutely great for the most part. He's had some flashes here or there where he's made some questionable decisions. The Florida State game necessarily wasn't great, but outside of that, he has been absolutely outstanding and electric. He had 22 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He probably could have or should have more interceptions than two. But if you just watch the guy play football at the quarterback position, he is just so much fun to watch. And I'm trying to not fall into the trap of, oh well, I like what I see, just forget everything around Ty Simpson, just take him right now. The problem that I have with Ty Simpson is that he's only going to have like 1 year of starting experience at a collegiate level, and he's going to have to, if he comes out after this season, he's going to have to try and elevate his play from this season to an NFL level next season if he decides to come out. To me, what I've seen from Ty Simpson is a guy. I see flashes of like a Jackson Dart where he's just if you watch Jackson Dart play, you watch all 22 of Jackson Dart. I mean, the guy he just freaking rips it, man. He just rips it and he just goes, you know what? I may not be able to make this throw, but guess what? You know what? We're sure as hell going to try it. I know Quincy Carrier, you guys probably watch. Quincy Carrier calls it the Jameis Winston mindset, where you just have you think your arm is more talented than you think. That's what Ty Simpson has. Ty Simpson has the Jameis Winston mindset, and it hasn't turned into interceptions. Now, granted, he probably should have like 5 interceptions right now, but he has this Jameis Winston mindset where he believes he can make any throw on the field. And I like that in a quarterback. I like that mindset to where, you know what? I'm talented. I can do this. I'm going to rifle it in there. And for the most part this season, it has worked. The guy has a great arm. He has an exceptional arm. It's not I'll tamper down my praise. It's good. It's great. It's not exceptional. Okay, it's not a Josh Allen. It's not a Joe Burrow. It's not even a Lamar. It's not that, but it's a great arm. He has just this feel in the pocket. He can maneuver. He can layer throws. The guy is good. Okay, I love the Browns. I would love if the Browns take him. I would also like if the Browns decide to go after a guy like Fernando Mendoza. Guy's leading the NCAA in touchdowns right now in Division One. He's leading FBS college football in touchdowns. He's got over 30 touchdowns both in the air and on the ground combined. He's only got, I think, three interceptions all season long. The guy is fun to watch. He's fun to watch, and he's just so smart. The guy is from He's from Florida, got accepted into Yale, transferred over to Cal instead, played there at Cal for a couple of years, then transferred over to Indiana, where he is now. He's been having success. Everywhere he goes, he's been having success. And to me, he reminds me of a guy like Jared Goff. I see a more athletic Jared Goff for Fernando Mendoza. To me, the guy just oozes confidence. He oozes just this franchise starting quarterback, right? He just oozes a starting quarterback to me. And a lot of people are going to be saying, like, I saw Todd McShay doesn't have him as QB1. He has Ty Simpson as QB1. I think Fernando Mendoza has I think he has a higher floor than Ty. He may have a lower ceiling than Ty Simpson too. I think if Ty Simpson is able to put everything together, Ty Simpson can come out here and probably be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL if he's able to keep playing the way he's playing, in the NFL level, even get better. I think he could be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. To me, Fernando Mendoza, and you guys may be calling me crazy, Fernando Mendoza reminds me a lot of a Tom Brady archetype. The guy is tall. He's big. He's 6'5", 225 pounds. He is a big guy. He's also super, super smart. He is super smart. And he was on the Urban Meyer podcast. I don't remember the name of the podcast, but it's Urban Meyer and a couple other former players. And Fernando Mendoza was on with them, basically discussing that last play against Penn State where Omar Cooper just made the outstanding 1 foot catch in the back of the end zone. And, Fernando Mendoza's talking about, what he saw from the defense in terms of the coverage, how he decided to make that throw and thread the needle to Omar Cooper to make it, make him, put it in a place where only Omar Cooper could catch it and all this other stuff. And you just listen to the guy. Even the way he sounds, even his voice sounded like Tom Brady. Even if you close your eyes, it sounded like you're listening to Tom Brady, right? He's just sounding like, oh, well, I saw the safety, saw the stripe of the helmet, blah, 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 blah. Talking about all the things he saw from the defense. Even Urban Meyer, right? Not a great NFL coach, great college coach, one of the best college coaches, right? Even Urban Meyer is sitting there, like, mouth agape, listening to Fernando Mendoza talk about, what he saw on the defense and how he's, discussing coverages and all this other stuff. Kind of gives you a little bit of a behind the scenes into like a draft process. That's what I felt like. It was sort of like a draft like process where they're watching film and he's diagnosing defensive coverages and like discussing what he sees and all this other stuff. And even Urban Meyer is like this. That's like this is the most impressive thing I've ever heard from a quarterback, right? Fernando Mendoza, and a lot of people have been saying that this quarterback class has been disappointing, which it has. It has. If you just think about Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier, Drew Aller, Arch Manning, you guys just keep thinking about those guys as the top guys. Yeah, for sure it's disappointing. But to say that like there's nobody in this draft class that is, that should be taken in the first round is ludicrous, right? It's ludicrous. Fernando Mendoza, to me, I see Jared Goff. I also see some flashes of Tom Brady. I do. It's crazy. I know it's crazy, but you just listen to the guy talk about the game and how he sees defenses. You watch him play the football game. He just makes some throws where you're like, how in the hell did he make that throw? There's just only one guy who can do that, and that's Mendoza. To me, Ty Simpson has that other aspect where Fernando's tall, he's lanky, he looks, sometimes when he runs the football, it doesn't necessarily look right. It looks like he just looks weird when Fernando Mendoza runs. Ty Simpson is the opposite. Ty Simpson's 6'3", maybe even 6'2", 210 pounds, but he's more quick and agile in the pocket, and he can just move around in the pocket. And I see some Jackson Dart in Ty Simpson. I don't know. I just see those two guys as being the top guys. And to me, the whole thing is, if the Browns lose on Sunday against the Raiders, to me, there should be a conversation within Berea to say, season's lost. We already know the season's lost. You're 2-8. You follow the Raiders. You're 2-9. Should this just be the wake up call and the death knell in the season to say, you know what? Let's just go after our guy. Let's just go after our guy in the draft. Let's take a guy like Mendoza or Simpson or even Dante Moore. Let's just go after one of these guys. And I think there has to be a conversation. And personally, I would welcome that conversation because I think those two guys, Simpson and Mendoza and Dante Moore, but I don't think Dante Moore's coming out this year. But Moore, Mendoza, Simpson, those three guys, any of those three guys are out there, to me, those are my three guys. And if you lose on Sunday to the Raiders, go for it. Just go for it. So that's just my opinion on the matter. Anyways, I'll read some of you guys' chats here. Hazahoo, welcome back, Hazahoo. Mendoza's like Andrew Luck. I could see that. I don't know if he's got the same. He's not built the same as Andrew Luck, but they're both super duper smart. And they could. I mean, if I would love to see if Mendoza's like Andrew Luck. I would love that. Better Day 2024 says Shedeur all the way. These QBs are mid. I mean, I don't think they're mid. I mean, we'll see if Shedeur. I think, like I said, Shedeur is going to have his opportunity to prove everybody wrong on Sunday. I think he's going. This is his week. This is his shot. I've said this all week long. This is his shot, and I hope he takes the most out of this opportunity to improve on what we saw on Sunday against the Ravens. And I think he can do it. But like I said, history is not good to Browns rookie quarterbacks making their first start, especially rookie quarterbacks making their first start on the road. But again, like I said earlier in the show, what better of a place for a guy like Shedeur Sanders to make his first NFL start than in Las Vegas? I mean, that's kind of just like where else would it have been, right? Where else could it be? Better Day 2024 again says the Browns need to draft a tackle and receiver in the first round. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that you could also get both of those things. I mean, you could either get a tackle with your second pick, or a receiver with the second pick in the first round. I mean, I would like a guy like Caleb Tiernan from Northwestern, or the guy from Clemson, who I think is an interior offensive lineman. There's a lot of guys who I think that could be taken in this draft class. Again, though, the offensive line class in this draft is not great, so I'm not necessarily going to be mad if they don't take an offensive lineman with the second pick in the draft. So I'm not going to be upset, but I think there's a lot of wide receivers in this draft class who are going to be absolutely great. I mean, you got Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, Denzel Boston. You got Chris Bell from Louisville, Casey Concepcion, Chris Brazzell. I mean, there's a lot of guys in this, and Skylar Bell. I mean, there's a lot of guys in this receiving class that are going to be absolutely great in the NFL, I think. Offensive line-wise, not the best. So that's why, to me, if the Browns can sign some free agents on the offensive line, and then you probably shore it up with one or two draft picks in the draft with, maybe you take a guy like Caleb Tiernan in the second round, or the guy from Clemson in the third round or second round. To me, that's what I would do, but that's just my opinion about it. Hazahoo again, I really think the Browns need to draft Mendoza. Simpson is good, but I think Browns need a bigger QB. Well, again, Simpson's 6'3", 6'2". He's still big. I think, to me, like I said, Simpson, Moore, Mendoza. Those are the three guys. You take either one of them, fine with me. I'm not going to complain. My only issue with Simpson is the lack of collegiate starts. He's only going to have one start or one season of starting. That's just my opinion. But he's the son of a coach. He sat for 3 years behind Saban and DeBoer. He's had experience. He can, he knows the offenses and that. To me, I think that's fine. I'm just worried about his game translating into the NFL only after having one full season of starts against college teams, when I think he could probably go back another year and get better. That's just my opinion. Better Day 24 again says trade down, get another first round pick for Jeremiah Smith in 2027. Well, I mean, you're gonna have to have a quarterback in 2027, man. You're gonna have to have a quarterback. So I mean, the Browns could still suck. Like again, the Browns could still suck in 2026, and they could probably still be in position for Jeremiah Smith. So you never know. Again, the 2027 draft class could be loaded in terms of quarterbacks. The 2027 draft class could be loaded if Ty Simpson, Dante Moore, and Lenore Sellers decide to go back to school for another year. 2027, you're going to have Arch Manning, Ty Simpson, Dante Moore, Lenore Sellers, Sam Levitt, who else? Julian Sayin, DJ Lagway. I mean, all of these guys are going to be coming out in 2027 if that's the case. So maybe if the Browns are not great, but they're not good, maybe Jeremiah Smith could be, could be for the Browns taking. They don't need to have a number one pick to get Jeremiah Smith in 2027 if all of those guys decide to go back to school another year. Okay, so the Browns are going to have an opportunity maybe in 2027 to get Jeremiah Smith. And again, receivers don't necessarily go that high. They could go, they go, maybe 4th to 10. I'd probably say like 4th pick is like the first time the receiver could probably go. I'd be shocked if someone took a receiver number 2. I would be shocked. But Jeremiah Smith is that good. He's that good to go number 1. But again, that draft class in 2027 with the QB class, that could push, Jeremiah Smith down the board a little bit. So the Browns could, if they suck in 2026, which is a good possibility, they could be in position to draft him, even without, trading up or trading to get another draft pick. Has a who? Josh Allen big. Yeah, that's fine. But, there's only like few guys who are built like Josh Allen. Mendoza's 6'5", like I said, but I don't know. I don't think necessarily you need a Josh Allen, size to be a good quarterback. Mahomes is 6'2". Mahomes is 6'2". He's the best quarterback of the last decade. Lamar Jackson, same thing. He's not 6'5", he's like 6'2", 6'3". Still one of the best quarterbacks of the decade. Josh Allen, 6'5", best quarterbacks of the decade. And you don't need to be 6'5" in order to be a great quarterback, is my thing. So, but that's your opinion. That's fine. I agree with that, though. A lot of people want a 6'5" type quarterback. Like I said, Mendoza, Moore, Simpson. 3 guys. That's just my opinion. Okay, everybody. Well, unfortunately, I have to run. I got to go do some errands, unfortunately, and get some appointments done before I head into work. I appreciate all of you guys coming out here on your Friday afternoon. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Once again, Sunday post-game show may be a little bit late as I have to work. So maybe just a couple minutes late coming home from work. Once again, it's still going to happen though. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that Sunday after the Browns-Raiders game. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all Sunday night after the Browns-Raiders game.